Hello everyone, it's Skyee here and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. So today we're going to be doing part 4 of our bonus Halloween color along. I'm super excited to continue this page with you guys. So we've been working in Jasmine Becket-Griffith's Halloween coloring book, and then this is the page that we've been working on. I'm really excited to get going with her. I've got my ring light on just because we've definitely hit the gray fall weather, so the sun has forsaken us the last couple days and it doesn't look like it's going to return, and I don't want to hold off recording just because of that, so hopefully the lighting is okay. So I'm still on the fence about a lot of colors. I have a few ideas, but nothing concrete. So I think we're going to dive in and we're going to color this flower because I actually have a general idea of what color that flower is going to be because it's going to be the same as this one. And then from there, I'm going to kind of wing it. I did have a few ideas. One that I do really like, but I want to take an updated picture and upload it to the computer and kind of use those colors to see what it's going to look like. Because I was kind of thinking about doing this flower like a really light peachy orange almost. And then same with the heart, her lips, the heart on this. I was thinking about doing like a light green for the bigger flower petals of her face paint, and then a blue for the smaller ones. I'm looking back at my computer because I actually have the picture up there on Photoshop so I can see the colors. I think I definitely want silver for these little metal bits on her, what do you call it, charm, her heart charm here. I'm a little bit worried that the silver isn't a good choice because of her face paint being so gray. It would be a darker silver, probably pretty dark, because everything else so far aside from like her hair and her eyes is fairly light. So it would definitely be a darker silver. This flower, I have no idea. I kind of want to keep it like white grays with like some kind of like color pop on these bits here. Or like vice versa, have this as like a white and then color on here. Not really sure. And then the background, I have no idea. I'm thinking just black. And then for the actual like heart piece, I was thinking like a really metallic silver blue kind of thing. But again, I'm not too sure. I think that might kind of blend into her face paint a little bit because it would be a little bit lighter. But now I'm kind of debating on making her face paint match these flowers and then just maybe doing this as like a purple flower. I'm kind of liking the colors I have so far in this and just the grays. So I'm going to play around a little bit more with colors and kind of go from there. So that's, sometimes I like to explain my thought process on colors because I know a lot of you have a really hard time choosing colors. And I just want to let you know that you are not alone. You really aren't. If you don't have any like fancy editor apps like Photoshop that you can use digitally to kind of lay out or like map out colors, see what it would kind of look like, you can always use tracing paper. That's what I started out with and I still use it sometimes. But if I'm stuck on multiple colors or like the entire page like I am now, Photoshop is just easier. I did want to pull out some grays because I do want to do some shading on these little bits of the flowers. I can't for the life of me remember what they're called. All right, so I'm just going to do these little bits first. So I'm going to come in with the 70%. This is the 70. Might not even need the 50. I might just need this one. I just want to create a little bit of a shadow so that way these aren't like completely white. So otherwise they're going to look a little blah. So this doesn't have to be like perfect at all. I'm going to shade this one in the back a little bit. I'm going to shade where they come out from the center of the flower. And then other than that, I'm just going to shade the bottom or right hand side of them, just to give it a little bit of dimension. I don't think we need the 50%, so I'm just going to tuck this up here. I do have a couple pieces of paper, as always, tucked behind this page. And I can't remember what steps we used on this flower, so it might end up turning out a little bit different, but hopefully it'll still look okay. I'm pretty sure we used the light aqua as a base. So I'm just going to start with that. I'm not too worried about these because I'm just going to go over them. I'll probably be a little bit more careful with the dioxazine purple hue, because even though it's a blue purple, I'm still always really paranoid about it bleeding through the white. So I'll probably be careful with that. Actually, I don't even think I was careful with these and they turned out okay. So I think we're good. Okay, so this one is a little bit bigger, so it's going to be a little bit trickier. Oh, we've actually got 3 flowers. I didn't even see this one this entire time. I did not know that was there. I'm just gonna pull up. Stop doing that. I'm just gonna pull up a colored reference just so I have a better general idea of what is what. Not that I'm going to color it as the same, but this gives me a general idea. I can see the lines a little bit easier when they're colored versus when they're not. So I'm just bringing the light aqua up mostly around the centers of these flowers, just like we did on this one. I'm trying to stay away from the outside for now. This one is kind of twisted, so it kind of like folds inwards, where this is like the outside. This is the inside, it folds in and kind of curves around. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm not quite sure how to color that one, to be honest, but we'll base the back of it and then the inside, and we'll leave a white area here and a white area here. All right. So just going really light. I think this is part of this one. Okay, this one. I think this is like the back of it. It like kind of curves over, kind of funny. I don't quite know how to color this one. I'm going to base the bottom quite a bit because I want the bottom to be a little bit darker, I think. And then I've kind of based the top of it a little bit, leaving a white spot around here and then around the tip of it. These petals are a little bit more confusing than they were on the other one, that's for sure. I have no idea what's going on with this one either. It looks like this is part, like all the same. It kind of comes off and like kind of flips. Let's just color this in blue. I don't quite know which way this goes, but let's put a shadow on the bottom here. And then we're also going to have it kind of shadowed on the top, but we just won't go as dark, I think, because I want this area on the outside to be the lighter highlights there. I should have watched this back to see how I colored these flowers because I have no idea. It was a couple days ago that I filmed last, so... okay. Blue violet, I think. I don't think I did, but I'm gonna add a little bit anyways, so I don't quite know. I think I just went straight in from that and with the dioxazine purple hue, I think. This is why I usually won't end a part until I've colored all of the similar objects. Like normally I would have colored all these flowers in the same part, but I figured we had a couple minutes left to squeeze into that part before I hit the max limit that I like for videos, which is generally like an hour and a half. I try to keep them under 2 hours for sure. Anything longer than that I think is just too much. I wanted to squeeze a little bit in there, and that flower was just the perfect fit for it, but now I'm lost. Okay, we're gonna wing it. If it ends up turning out different, then it ends up turning out different. Not a big deal. The colors will be the same anyways, but I'm gonna go with my instincts here. So we're gonna go in with the dioxazine purple hue. I'm gonna start this up from the bottom. These are fairly bigger petals, so you don't have to worry quite so much. So let's start bringing these in. I want it to be a little bit darker along this edge. So I'm going to bring the dioxazine purple hue up a little bit, not all the way because we still want the tips to be pretty light, but I'm going to bring it up a little bit. All right, and then we're going to start with these flicking motions. Okay, I think that one's good there. Let's put a little bit on this one here. I'm going to shadow this a little bit and shadow where it's coming out from the top as well. And then the inside. So I'm just going to color all along the right side of this line here and then fade it out a bit. And then we can add just a few flicks to make it look relatively the same. I don't know if these two petals are the same or different, but either way, this line here, I'm going to add a shadow here and then fade that out. And then just create a couple strokes, stripes, whatever you want to call them on there. I'm going to try and keep this edge relatively light because that will help separate the petals. And I kind of like curve the strokes inwards because I want to keep the outside edges a little bit cleaner. So these center ones will be straight up and then they'll be kind of slightly curved on either side. Okay, let's run this color all along the bottom of this line here and fade this out. Kind of want to go along here as well. Let's just bring this out a little bit. It's on the bottom anyways, so I don't know, maybe it's different. Put a little bit of purple kind of on the inside, like the very middle of this part, but I'm not going to put it too much because I don't want it to be too dark. I'll add some here. Try and keep this part light. fingers for that. Okay, bottom of this line is where we're going to have our darker shadow. So I'll probably use the black to darken this up, but I'll have the purple on both sides. So I just want to fade that out a little bit, and then yeah, we'll go in with our strokes. Really don't know what to call them. This one's going to look funny. I don't know how much I like that, but I don't really know what's going on here. So it just is what it is. I'm going to fully color in this part here. And then color along the bottom of this. And bring it out a little bit, and then we'll just create some strokes here. If you don't want to go over this, you could use washi tape or like painter's tape, something like that. I think that looks good. Okay, so then we can go in with our black and darken up some of the shadows that we need. So this one back here, I want to be a little bit darker. I don't know if it doesn't really look like I did this with the black a whole too much, but I might a little bit here because I don't know if I did or not. Okay, we're gonna darken this one up a little bit. Darken this up. Just more in the center. I'm going to keep it kind of light around here. I'm not going to touch this edge of this petal because we're going to go on this one kind of around it. And we're going to darken this entire area up. Darken up down here. And then underneath this. Underneath here. A little bit on the bottom of this one. And then on the inside of this one, I think. And I don't want to bring it up too far because I want it to be darker closer to the centers. Okay, now that we've got our black in there, I want to go back in with the dioxazine purple hue, and I just want to darken up a few of these strokes. I'm just going to add a couple extra ones. Just a little bit darker, more confident almost, even though I'm not. I think I've definitely brought them up too high on these ones, but it is what it is now. This one, I'm going to color in a little bit and bring this out. Okay, our next color, I think, or I hope, was the Blue Violet Lake. So I'm just going to flick this one in here a little bit. I don't really notice it too much in this flower, so I'm not quite sure how I put it in there. I just know that I did. It's fairly light. Yeah, that looks okay. We'll go in with our light aqua next. come in along this side here, add a little bit to that shadow. Maybe a little bit on the outer edge here as well, because we need to add a little bit of color here. Kind of overdoing it with the details on this flower is okay. I'm not too worried about it because generally things that are in the background seem to be a little bit lighter, and then things that are in the front or closer to the viewer tend to be a little bit darker, or at least that's how it is when I make like those forests and stuff, like our Dryad page that we did in Mythomorphia. Not last month, but the month before, I think. Was September, no, I guess it would have been last month's technically, for me anyways, because it's September right now, and that was August's color along, I believe. But for the background, we put in some really light trees that kind of look like they're coming in through the background. So I'm kind of hoping the flowers have the same effect, where these ones just appear closer and that one's just going to look further away, because that is what we intend. I think they're good. I do want to add a little bit of the Blue Violet Lake, I think, to this one here. Just going over top of the light aqua. Yeah, that looks better. I'm gonna add a little bit of it just right here too. Okay, and now we can go in with our powder blue. So this one, I'm pretty much just going to use a firm pressure and start burnishing. I'm going to work in the direction of the lines that we've just drawn in. So I'm not going to go like sideways or anything. I'm going to go kind of alongside in the same direction. It doesn't have to be the exact same. As long as it's kind of like up and down kind of motion, you're okay. If you blend horizontally, then they will end up blending together and the lines just won't look as sharp. They'll kind of blur out a little bit, which is good if that's the effect that you're going for. But in this case, we want to keep our lines a little bit sharper. This is also going to darken them a little bit, which is nice. Clean my pencil off and sharpen it every once in a while, especially when I'm going back to like the tip of one of the flowers, because it will transfer the darker colors onto there and we don't want that. Okay, so these ones here did not turn out as soft as I would have hoped. I didn't really notice it until I went ahead and kind of burnished over the area though. Once they got darker, I kind of noticed they look a little bit funny. I can easily fix that by just going over that spot with some white sparkles. Maybe just a little bit of extra white sparkles will kind of help hide that. That looks pretty good. And we're gonna make it look even better. So I think I'm gonna start with the center flower thingies. Colored over these ones pretty good, so I'll probably have to do a couple layers with the Posca pen to get them back to a bright white, but that's okay. Can't quite tell what lines are what, but I'm just kind of winging it here until it looks like I have them all. Okay, I think I've got them all there. It's the same thing as before. We're going to outline the flowers. All right, I think that looks good. They're definitely quite a bit darker than the other one, which is actually a little bit unfortunate because I like the other one better, but at the same time, I like that these ones have like more of like a painted look to them. So let's add some little dots here and there. There, by adding just some extra little dots here around the tips, you don't notice the harshness of those lines as much. And actually now with the dots, it's actually not looking too bad at all. I don't know if these are dry enough for another layer, but I'm just going to really lightly try and do a second layer on them. There we go. There is our flowers done for the most part. We still have to add the gray bits to these. And actually now seeing the difference between the little flower and these bigger ones, that little bit of gray really did help a lot. I think I'm like 90% sure I want to do this silver, but there's a small part of me that thinks gold maybe is a better option. But so far I've used pretty much all cool tones. The only warm tone we have right now is her hair. And even then it's more of like a cooler tone of brown. Whereas gold is a warm tone usually. So I'm just not too sure. I think I'm gonna leave it here for now, and I'm gonna take that picture and work on it on the computer and kind of see what I can come up with. And then kind of go from there. So I will see you guys back once I've made a decision. All right, guys, I am not gonna lie, I am struggling. Everything I've tried out on Photoshop, I just haven't really ended up liking, so I'm a little bit overwhelmed. But I think what I need to do is just kind of wing it as always and just hope for the best. One thing that I do want to do, I know that I've pretty much burnished this part, but I do want to extend her eye makeup down here a little bit and add some brown, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Since it's practically burnished, I'm just going to have to be really, really careful. I'm going to go in with the dark umber, and I'm just going to go in underneath the black line and just fade this out a little bit. I do the same thing on this side. To be really careful not to put too much though, because since her face is turned, this side is smaller. And then I'm going to go in with the chocolate and I'm just going to lightly go over this whole area and just fade it out right around here. I like how that's looking, so I want to go a little bit darker. Mostly just closest to this black line here though. There we go. I like that. Okay, for her lips and this heart here and these little dots, I think I want to kind of match it to the flowers down here. So I'm going to grab the Blue Violet Lake. And I'm just going to base those with this. And then I think we're going to tackle these as well. We're just going to go right on in here. So all of these bigger ones I want to be, I think, lighter, and then the smaller petals I'll probably have those darker. Alright, we'll go in with the dioxazine purple hue on these ones. So I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow to this heart. And just fade it out, see what that looks like. Let's maybe bring up the shadow just slightly on this side. Okay, and then for her lips, we're going to come along the bottom. I'm actually not quite sure how to color these lips. I'll grab my water here, my throat's a little sore. Alright, I think I'm going to make her lips kind of darker on this side. Bottom lip will probably be darker. kind of just like how we do with Hannah's, I think. So just kind of close to where her lips meet. I want a little bit of a shadow on the top lip, the bottom of the top lip as well. And then again, we're going to make this side a little bit darker. We'll go in with the black. We use the black under where her lips meet to just separate those shadows a little bit. And then I'll maybe add just a little bit in the corner here and a little bit on the bottom corner here. I'll add some to these as well. I'm kind of seeing them more as jewels than face paint, so that's why I'm kind of giving them a little bit of a shadow. Okay, back in with the dioxazine purple hue. I'm pretty confident in my shadows now, so I'm just going to darken them up, make sure they're faded out nicely. Small little circles. Oh. I totally forgot to plug my mic in, so hopefully the audio is a little bit better now. Maybe make it a little bit darker in the middle. I'll kind of make her lips look a little bit more, don't quite know what the word I'm looking for is, but make them look better, I think. I think it looks better that way. Alright, I'm liking that. Don't have a whole lot of room on these little ones. I want to save a highlight on those, so I'm not going to add too much more. We'll add a fair bit more to this heart though. So I mostly want to keep the shadows on the top part of this and then around this area here. Or highlights. I think I said shadows, I meant highlights. Alright, we'll go in with the Blue Violet Lake now. Just going to use a light hand to kind of go over everything, just lightly to give it a little bit of a more purple hue, and then we can go ahead and start adding into the shadows and burnishing, fading this out a little bit. I'm going to use the powder blue as our lightest color, but I do want to bring the Blue Violet Lake out a bit on its own as well. Try and leave a highlight on these while adding some of this color if we can. So her bottom lip's going to be a little bit darker. I'm still going to go over her top lip with the Blue Violet Lake. I'm just not going to burnish the highlights. Alright, and then we'll come in with our powder blue. Part of me just kind of wants to stick to these colors. I should have cleaned that off first. Got a little bit of a smudge right there. That's okay though. But yeah, part of me wants to kind of just stick to this palette. And then the other part is telling me that that's just playing it too safe and that there's too much to color to stick to that palette. It'll be too much. I don't know. So I'm just like internally screaming because I'm not sure. I do really like that though. We're just gonna kind of like hop around all willy-nilly because since I don't know what exactly I want to do, I'm just gonna kind of keep working at it and kind of basing off of it. So I do really like this color here. It pops in with the flowers down here, and I think I want a little bit over here. So these little splotchy bits on this, I think I might do with these colors as well. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go back to the Blue Violet Lake and we're just gonna color this in the same way that we did the other ones. I'm not gonna go all spiky like this because I don't quite want them to match. So I'm going to actually just color in the kind of patterned outline bit here that Jasmine's drawn in. I really hope that this is part of this flower and not supposed to be her hand because it doesn't look like her hand. I mean, it can't be because the only thumb, the only finger that's missing is her thumb. But I don't know what kind of flower this is, so I don't really know the general shape of them. All right, we'll go in with the dioxazine purple hue. So I'm going to put this along down here. Color in like this whole top part where it comes out from behind this flower. I'm going to fade it out a little ways because we still want to add the black. I want this to be fairly dark. Shadow it here where it tucks in behind this flower petal. I'm confident in what I'm doing, so I'm not going to, probably not going to come back to this color after we put the black in, so I'm just going to make sure it's faded out real nice. Add a little bit over here. And then we'll add some over here. I'm going to darken up by these lines a little bit because I'm sure they mean something. wish I knew what kind of flower this was. Doesn't say anything about the flowers though, unfortunately, on the side, so stuck kind of guessing, unless you actually know, but I have no idea. I think it's still like a type of lily. I think these are all lilies. And actually, with that in mind, I'm going to search up different types of lilies, and let's see if I can find what this is. So maybe it's not a lily at all. Kind of looks like an oriental lily, but not quite the same. Oh well, we are just going to wing it. I don't know why, but this little circle part, I want to color this purple as well, so we are just going to do that. So I'm just going to base it with the Blue Violet Lake, and then we're going to go in with the dioxazine purple hue. Give it a little bit of a shadow around here. I'll fade that out. I'm going to give it a very, very light shadow right here, but I want it to be lighter than this part. Fade that out nicely. Okay, and then we'll come in with the black. So I'm going to keep this concentrated at the edges mostly and just fade it out a little bit from there. I think maybe I still will go back in with my dioxazine purple hue. Who am I kidding? I need to layer. It's not going to be the same if I don't. I can't skip. Plus it'll kind of dilute the black a little bit too. Let's just color in this part a little bit. We'll fade it out the best we can. And then we'll darken up over here and fade this out too. Okay, we'll go back in with the Blue Violet Lake. I think I'm just going to color everything in with the Blue Violet Lake. I don't think I'm going to use the powder blue on this one, just because I don't know what color I want to do the outside. I want it to be lighter. So I'm actually thinking maybe like an off, like a whitish blue, or like a gray. I'm not sure about gray because of her face. It's such a large portion on the page that's already gray, so that's why I'm even struggling with the color of the metal bits on here. I want to do them gray, but I'm worried that it's gonna look too like her face, and then I don't think that would look good. So that's kind of why I'm struggling there. I want to keep it metals, and I really don't want to add gold because nothing is yellow on this page. So I'm kind of at a crossroads. We could do copper, actually. That might be neat. I never really considered copper. More of like a brownish kind of gold. I think it would like go with her eyeshadow. I don't think I've seen very many people do that in the album that I was looking at in the Jasmine Becket-Griffith group. See, this is why I just kind of talk randomly to you guys. Sometimes it helps, gives me ideas. It's not decided though, I'm still on the fence, but I think it's a good option. But then that would leave what color to do the case itself, or whatever the background part of that is. I know I based these as if I was gonna color them, and then I just I got scared and then I didn't color them. Okay, I actually really like that. I feel like this is looking okay. The reason I'm not gonna color these yet, I want to do them on the computer, I think, but I need more colored around. I'm torn between using the color from the flowers, but whether I want to go blue or like maybe bring the light aqua in there, because we don't really have much that's light aqua. Even this lily up here might be nice light aqua, but I'm not sure. I'm also like, I always try to balance my pages. So doing the metal bits on this any other color, it's not going to be balanced because that color is not going to be anywhere else. Doing it copper is okay because then it will kind of go with her eyeshadow. So I guess that might be the best route to go. Maybe do like a coppery bronze. Or maybe do like the crystal here blue. Let's do this lily up here blue. Not like super dark blue or anything, but more like a light, like off-white blue. And then this one I don't know yet. We might do the same, but we'll see. I'm gonna start with the Blue Violet Lake. I'm not worried about these little dots. I think I'm gonna do those probably black if I'm going with a lighter color. So I will just go in with my Posca pen later on for those. I'm gonna figure out our shadows here. So I'm just gonna go in lightly for now. Let's just base this whole area. I'm gonna leave the edges really light. There's going to be a shadow where this one comes in behind this one. And again, I'm going to try and leave the edges a little bit lighter. A little bit scared about this water droplet too. We'll shadow this edge here because it's kind of overlapped. I'm going to avoid the water bubbles for now because I'm not quite sure what to do with those yet. I'm going to have a shadow on the top side of this line. Just lightly base everything else. There's going to be a little bit of shadow on the inside of this shape here. Shadow here. And then we'll just put a shadow on the edge of this one just because I don't really know what to do with that. Okay, let's accentuate our shadows a little bit with dioxazine purple hue. No. Have we used the Indanthrone blue on this page? I don't think so. But we're going to. Part of me earlier was thinking about doing the casing of this like a royal kind of blue color, and it's stuck in my head. So I think I have to do it. So bringing the Indanthrone blue up here. Hopefully I moved my page. Oh, thank God. Panicked for a second there. All right. I don't want this to be too dark, so going to use a tiny little bit of the Indanthrone blue, just enough to give it a decent shadow. So I'm kind of going like directly on this line, putting a shadow on both sides kind of. But more so on the sides with the spots. Not burnishing or anything at all, and just using like a light medium pressure. I'll leave it like that. Let's put a little bit of a shadow in here. A little bit of a shadow here. Just want to soften up my fades from here. other than that, I think that looks okay. I create shadow along the bottom side of these bubbles. Fade it out just slightly. And then a little bit of a shadow on the top. I'm kind of referencing to one of the pages in the group to see how they did this, because I don't think I've ever colored bubbles before, not like this anyways. I actually don't know if I want to bring the aqua in on this flower now. Maybe we should make it a little bit darker. Instincts. Okay, we're just winging it. We're gonna go in with the black. We're gonna go over these shadows that we just created with the In and Thrown blue, because we're gonna bring the In and Thrown blue out a little bit. So like that. Add a little bit to these bubbles. Back in with the In and Thrown blue. Let's darken these up a bit. So gradually building that color up. I usually fade it out a little bit more as I increase the color. Okay, I think I want to create shadows on the opposite sides of where we've added the black as well, but just with the In and Thrown blue, so they're a little bit lighter. Let's make it darker in this corner here instead. Kind of kept it a little bit lighter on either side of this. So it needs some color. I'm not quite sure exactly what colors I'm going to use. I am literally flying by the seat of my pants here, so it'll be interesting. I do feel like we need more shadow on this one. I'm not quite sure on what side though, because at this point none of my shadows really make sense, so it doesn't really matter. But I gotta figure out what side would be better for this particular petal. Or since we have the water droplets on this petal, technically our light source would be coming up from the top, so our shadows are already wrong. I'm just gonna shadow on the left side because we already have this here. Let's bring this like directly into here because I don't really know what else to do with that, and we can probably play off that shape a little bit and round this part out. Let's add a shadow here. Oof, my wrist just cracked. Okay, I don't mind these two, but this one is just bugging me. We need something here. We're gonna create a shadow coming in this way because I don't feel like this looks right. And then let's create one that kind of comes in this way a little bit. Maybe it comes this way and curves down. I don't know. Okay, I think that looks a little bit better. I'm just gonna work on my fading out because it looks pretty rough right now. So I'm gonna fade this out a bit nicer. I'm gonna grab the black again. I want to extend the black down here a little bit. And then out from this shadow and this one. And then I'm also going to add some of the black in on here too. And technically I would want the shadow under here to be darker, but I'm just breaking all the rules right now. So why stop there? Okay, that looks good. I don't really know what colors I want to bring in next. I'm actually thinking grays, but that might be a gamble. I think it might be okay if we go with like a light gray, one that we've used already. The 20% maybe. Let's do the 20% and the, I don't know if I want it to be completely white. Let's do the 20 and the 10. Okay, so starting with the 20, I'm gonna go over top of the shadows with this one. I'm gonna fade it out a little bit, making sure to use those circles because otherwise it's gonna spread and streak and we don't want that. So I'm gonna use this. The reason we're starting in the shadows is to kind of drag the color out. So we wanna work just lightly. We're gonna let our pencil pick up these blues and we're just gonna slowly drag it out. Okay, I'll do the same thing on this side. Drag this out a little bit, drag it down. That'll help fade it actually. You can kind of see how that extended the color there. I'm gonna have it like the darker gray, like the 20% gray around the bottom. But then I'm gonna fade it out into the lighter gray. So maybe like around here. Bring in the gray up here. And try and leave a little bit of a highlight on the very outer edge. This one, I think we can just color this in. Okay, going in with the 10% cool gray, this is the one that we want to keep clean. So we're gonna start in on the shadows and then we'll just drag this inwards. If you do get like a little spot like this, like I just got, that's totally fine. I can cover this up with a dot, which will probably be black now. I was thinking white, but with these colors, I think black. Okay, looks good. I'm gonna clean my pencil off right now just so I don't forget later. We'll switch back to the 20%. Let's color in this little bit right here. bring this down a little bit. So we're going to keep this edge white. We're going to keep this edge white. Okay, we're going to switch to the 10%. I'm going to give mine a quick sharpen. Okay, clean it off, set it aside, and back in with our 20% on our last petal. I'm not quite sure where our highlights are going to be on this one. I'm just going to kind of keep dragging out these colors. Kind of see what happens, I guess. This petal kind of turned out weird. I think it'll look okay, but I think our highlight's going to be directly in the center. Still avoiding the bubbles. And with our cool gray, all right, I guess they're both cool grays, but the 10% one. Touch up just any little spots that look a little bit wonky or just not fully burnished. All right, that actually doesn't look too bad. I like that. Okay, now onto the bubbles. I'm gonna look at my reference picture again and see if I can figure out what to do here. So let's grab the Indian Throne blue. I think we kind of want to make our the inside kind of like match the flowers. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of the Indian Throne blue down. Just around the outside here. And the outside of this one a little bit. Go in with our 20% gray. Fade that out. I guess just color in the whole thing. I don't know how well that worked for the little bubble. I think it just like dominated it. Let's go back in with the Indian Throne blue. We had our shadow on this side, so let's darken that up a little bit and just fade that out. And then our other shadow was on the outside of the bubble on the bottom. Okay. I'm gonna grab my black Posca and do these dots first before we do these. That way I won't accidentally run my hands through there. That looks so pretty. I'm gonna do this one as like a little semicircle. Just so it looks like it kind of goes in underneath this crease here. All right, those look so cute. I actually really like that. So then our bubbles. So with our white pen, oh, that's black. Oh my gosh, that would have been bad. All right, with our white pen, just on the very outline, we're gonna do a thin line on the tops. I'm gonna do a thicker line on the bottom. And then just like a couple little lines here, I think. I don't know, hopefully that works because I'm not sure. It looks okay to me. Hopefully it looks okay to you guys. I think what I need to do, I'm gonna take my and then throw blue and I'm gonna sharpen the crap out of it, which hurts me because I love this pencil, so I hate sharpening it. Very, very carefully go over the circles. I gotta re-white that one because that didn't work very well. Okay, so I went over and darkened up the entire circle. So now the white line at the very top needs to be inside that circle. There we go. And then, I guess they're both on the inside, aren't they? They're both on the inside. But there we go. That looks a little bit better, I think. Do we add any highlights to this flower? I kind of like it as is, but I'm not sure. What if we added like a little bit of white in the... Ooh. I kind of like that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. You guys can choose whether you want to or not. Wait till your pen dries completely though, like your Posca pen. I think my black is pretty much dry. I'm just very, very lightly putting my white over top here, just in case it's still wet, then it won't get into the nib too much, hopefully. Oh, that looks so good. I am obsessed with that. I'm so glad that I decided to try. I figure if I didn't like it, I could just wait for it to dry and then color it over it with the black Posca again. So I wasn't too worried. But that really, really adds a lot. And it's such a small thing. Make the ones on these bigger ones a little bit bigger here. There we go. Okay, I'm a little bit obsessed with that. I think I want to add just like a couple little dots on that one too, so that way it doesn't look left out, because it just looks kind of funny to me just sitting like that. I'm gonna wait for that to dry and then put white over top of it. There's something else I was gonna do. Oh yeah, I'm gonna grab my black. I'm just gonna very lightly darken up the shadow underneath this bubble. It's still bugging me. It needs to be a little bit more pronounced. And I think going over with the grays made the shadows kind of disappear a little bit. Okay. I think that looks better. Okay, on that same note, I'm gonna see what time we're at. Yeah, so we are at about 1 hour and 40 minutes. This will definitely be a 5-part as well. I think my black here should be dry enough. I should be able to add those little white dots there. And I think that concludes part 4. So in part 5, we will definitely get this finished. I don't think I'm going to do anything too major for the background, I don't think. I'm going to look and see what everybody else did, but I think everybody else just did solid colors, which is kind of what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking just black, so that way everything else looks, it kind of pops out. But we'll have to see. Maybe even like a really, really light, like ice blue, like kind of like this kind of color might look nice too. I'm not too sure. But this gives me a lot more to play around with on the computer, so I can kind of play around with and see. I think for sure we are going to be doing the metal box in as this color because we kind of want the balance, so I think that will help there. We'll do a kind of coppery bronze, like her eyeshadow for the metal bits. Part of me kind of wants to do this heart as like a different color and not have it match the metal bits, so I'll probably just leave that till after and kind of see, and then we'll figure out her eye makeup as well, because I'm not too sure there, but that at least makes me feel a little bit better. I have a general idea on where the page is going. I do want to add a white line here just above her lips. And then let's add a little bit of a shine to those. I don't know about that, but that's kind of what I was thinking. I like it. I think it looks good. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger here on that side where the shadow is. All right, that looks good there. I'm going to just white up above her mouth here. And then I'm gonna grab my black and sharpen it, and I'm just gonna go over the stitches, I guess, of her lips. And outline her lips as well. Yeah, there we go. That looks way better. Oh, I love that. I stress out for no reason. I really do. I'm gonna grab these 70% cool gray. If I don't do these now, there's a chance I won't notice later, so. Same thing, I'm just gonna go over the bottom kind of left side of these things here. We'll add gray to a few of the stems kind of coming down just to separate them a little bit. Yep, just enough to make it look a little bit more interesting. Do the same thing here. Let's maybe go a little darker on that one because it's a little bit bigger, so it kind of looked funny. Okay, I think that's it for part 4. So in part 5, we'll get everything else finished. I'm really excited about that. I do have some new ideas that I'm super excited about. So I think this will probably definitely be like a navy kind of royal blue, like up here. We'll definitely do like a copper, like her eyelashes. I think that would look really good. It would tie the colors in well together. Not quite sure about this one yet, and then I'm not sure about the makeup around her eyes. So I might have to play with that on the computer once I have more colors done, or even now that I have these colors done, I might be able to kind of no, I think I need to have this done. It's such a big piece. I think this is what's throwing me off. So I need to have this colored. I kind of want to have the heart a different color, but I'm not too sure yet. So I'll have to play around with that on the computer as well. And then for the background, I'm not too sure. I was thinking just black, but at the same time, that might be too dark. Maybe like a nice light ice blue, kind of like this color over here might be nice. And then that would also help balance it. Yeah, lots of ideas. I feel a lot better. I was stressing out for literally no reason because so far it's turning out pretty good in my opinion. Hopefully you guys agree, and hopefully you guys are as excited to see her finished as I am. Technically you guys will already have seen her finished, but that's it for part 4. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!